Hello everybody. This is I believe my sixth installment, and I just want to say real quick, beware the Ides of March. Now, I realize that by the time I upload this video, probably won't be the Ides of March when you guys are watching this. Um, but it is right now, and so that's going to be the topic of the day. Um, Now, the first thing to note, the Ides of March is the 15th of March for you guys that don't know. And the Ides of March, that's actually something that goes all the way back to Roman times here. Now this costume right here, it's supposed to be, I guess, like an allegory towards Julius Caesar. So I'm not trying to impersonate Jesus or something here. That's not the attempt. It's really more of a Roman kind of thing. I always thought my curly hair was more Roman-esque kind of thing, like Italian or Greek or something. Not really so much savior type of stuff. Um, so that's the purpose of this is to look more like Julius Caesar in recognizing the Ides of March. Now Julius Caesar, he was kind of an older man. I'm pretty sure he had a couple decades on me when he died. And I'm pretty sure I heard a story of him having like a bald spot or something. I don't know. He was just an old guy, so I got looks on him. But continuing on, so why don't they just call it the 15th of March? Well, once again, this is going back to Roman times, and so the Romans actually had a slightly different calendar back then than what we have now. A couple things that the Romans did differently. Instead of counting up like we do, like we go from the first to the second to the third, and count up from the first of the month, they actually counted 2 certain days. It'll be like 6 days before this, 5 days before this. And there were three days in particular that they counted too. The first is, well, the first of the month. Um, the first of the month is, they're known as calende, which is where you get calendars. The word calendar is from calende. And the calends, what they were the first of the month. And again, this is, back in the time, during that time, the Roman calendar was actually a lunar calendar, not a solar calendar. And so the first of the month was always on the new moon. So when the moon phase was new moon, that's when it was counted. After that, the other significant date, there was the none, which I believe the singer's like gnomes. I'm not sure. I used to take Latin. I haven't for years now, so I'm not sure how it's pronounced. A couple of things I know about this day. It used to represent the half moon, and then later on, it came to be about 8 days before the Ides. So whenever the Ides was, well, this date was 8 days before it. And then that brings us to the last day, which were the Ides of March. The Ides of March is, it used to be the night of the full moon. Later on, it was set to a certain date, which was the 15th of March. For March, again, it was different days for other months. Sometimes the 15th, occasionally the 13th. I think the 13th. I'm not sure. I probably should have done a tiny bit more research here. But that's why the Ides of March are known as the 15th of March now. Now the Ides of March in particular were actually a pretty religious holiday. The Romans actually had a lot of holidays. They were pretty laid back. And one of the holidays was the Ides of March. And that was a time of drunkenness and revelry and all kinds of stuff, like a New Year's, or a closer holiday nowadays would be like St. Patrick's Day, I guess. I don't know, people getting drunk, kind of same thing. In any case, and that's what it was known for the longest time, until of course 44 BC. And the reason why that changed 44 BC is because that's when Caesar was assassinated. He was actually assassinated on the Ides of March. And this fact was pretty well dramatized in William Shakespeare's play about Julius Caesar. And in that play, a soothsayer warns Caesar not to go to the Senate. Pretty much warns Caesar that harm will come to him before the end of the Ides of March. Now, Caesar wasn't really superstitious, and he really didn't heed the warning, and so he's on his way to the Senate despite the protests of people around him. And he saw the soothsayer on the way to the Senate. He's trying to act all badass and stuff. He doesn't believe in superstition, so what does he have to fear? He just goes up to the soothsayer and he's like, well, the Ides of March have come. I'm still here, Just shows that your predictions are bullshit kind of thing. And the soothsayer responds with, ah, yes, but the Ides of March have not gone. So that's something to keep in mind there. It's, the day has to actually go by before you can, count yourself lucky. So I guess don't count your chickens before they hatch. No, that's more like taking stock of what you have. Any case, so, at the end of the day, the soothsayer can say, gotcha, fucker, Now I hate to admit this, but I am kind of superstitious. So I guess it means that I will heed warnings and stuff. I don't play with Ouija boards or anything like that. That's, I don't want to mess with anything like that. Why take a chance, right? So I'm not superstitious about everything. I'll step on a crack without concern for my mother. So it's not something that's going to be paralyzing to me, but at the same time, I don't try to tempt fate here. So Julius Caesar, he continues on. He goes into the Senate, and of course, he gets assassinated. Brutus, which is supposedly like a really great friend of Caesar, he ends up stabbing Caesar along with 60 other senators. They just kind of shanked him. That was it. He stabbed a bunch. I guess they say he put his cloak over his head to hide the embarrassment of dying. Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm dying. How shameful. Oh God. Turns out I'm not immortal. I'm just like everybody else. Damn. Yeah, I don't get that part either. I'd be more like, help me, I'm dying. And during those last moments, that's when he supposedly uttered the phrase "et tu, Brute," which means "and you, Brutus," which now has become symbolic, or as a sentence said during a time of betrayal. And of course, Caesar dies. This starts the crisis of the Roman Republic, which leads into civil war, and then eventually Octavius comes in and established the Roman Empire, and the rest is history. I'll start with the Ides of March. So yeah, it was a bad day for a few people. None more so than Julius Caesar. I guess that's all I have to say about the Ides of March. That's your history lesson there. This right here is actually a Halloween costume. I didn't handmade this or anything. It wasn't specific for this occasion. I just have this from an old Halloween costume. The original was supposed to be like a Greek god or something, and then turned to like a Roman theme, and then I don't know. I'm not sure why I'm doing this with this anymore. I guess whenever I need a toga, I just pull this out. And for those of you that are wondering, yes, I am wearing this in a historically accurate fashion, which means that there's nothing underneath. Just this toga, and it's very comfortable. I'll tell you that. I certainly see why the Romans enjoyed it. It's feel the breeze. It's really nice. I guess that's all I have for this video. It's getting a little long, so I'm going to cut it a little short. I'll probably just continue on, recognizing the day. I talked about changing my clan name to Et2 on Call of Duty. It's not something, not a big deal, I know. But I guess I'm going to be doing that with my brother tonight, have some more fun. And I hope you guys have fun too. Stay safe and beware the Ides of March.